Hey guys, today I am interviewing the wonderful and lovely Michelle Grasick of michellegrasick.com. She's an acupuncturist and she also teaches business and marketing to acupuncturists. And she has one of my favorite all-time blogs, michellegrasick.com. Definitely go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It's so informative and just so helpful and great. And since you guys have voiced a lot of interest in online courses, and Michelle and I have both created online courses, I thought that you guys might be interested in us just talking about what we've learned from creating our courses, the challenges we've had, the fun we've had, what we've learned from it. And so Michelle and I are just having a candid, fun conversation about online course creation. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. We had a few technical glitches when we first started, so I'm recording this intro a little later because that got cut off. And I think it's a little funny and ironic because, of course, with online course creation, there's always these technical challenges, so I probably didn't need to edit it out. You guys could have appreciated it. But if Michelle and I can do all that technical stuff, you can too. Don't be intimidated. I know a lot of people are, but with that said, here is the wonderful Michelle Grasick.
I did a webinar about how I created my online course, and I was shocked with how popular it was and how many acupuncturists were thinking about creating their own online programs. So I thought it would be fun for us to just talk about our experiences and what we've learned. And even though our courses aren't necessarily like practice, like acupuncture and holistic medicine related, it's still so much commonality and so much to be gleaned from our experiences. So I think people might really appreciate whatever we have to share and just be really transparent about our experiences. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Awesome. So why don't we just start with you telling us a little bit about your online course and what it's about and who it's for. Just so we have a good foundation to go from.
Sure. So I have two online courses right now. One is the Foundations Marketing course, which is like the really big course where I cover like everything that I could think of related to acupuncturists and marketing, like what they didn't learn in acupuncture school, what they need to know, what's important for like real life practice, that kind of thing. And then the other one is much smaller, and it's Facebook ads for acupuncturists. So basically it's more like the nuts and bolts of ads manager, which I think people find so intimidating that they just don't even want to run Facebook ads. So it's just walking people through it and being like, you click this, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know it can be totally overwhelming for people. Valuable. Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
And you have really similar courses too, right? To both of those, if I recall.
Yeah, totally. I have a marketing course that's called How to Attract a Steady Stream of Loyal Patients. And it's also like the kitchen sink, like everything I could think about for growing an acupuncture practice. So the yin marketing, the yang marketing, the strategy, the how-tos. And then I have a bunch of smaller courses also. Some are free and some are paid. Yeah. And then I also have a course that is related to my acupuncture practice. That's a fertility course called Becoming Mama, and some other smaller offshoots of that as well. So I created it because I saw how great creating online courses could be. You know, I did the Acuprosper first, and then I was like, I should do this for my practice. Yeah. So I want to encourage other acupuncturists.
Amazing.
Yeah, cool. So tell us about how and why you decided to create an online course.
I was really afraid at first. So I had been writing my blog about acupuncture marketing, michellegrasick.com, for I think like two and a half years. And people from all over the world would email me, like acupuncturists, with the same kinds of questions and concerns. And I realized that I was answering a lot of the same questions over and over. And online courses were really like just getting in full swing at that point. I had maybe just discovered them. And I felt like I should put all of these answers to these common questions in one place and just have it be an online course and have it be more like step-by-step and comprehensive, like more linear than just like one-off emails. But I was really nervous because I felt like, even though I'd been writing about acupuncture marketing for 2 years and teaching practice management as a guest lecturer at my alma mater, I still kind of felt like, why should I put this? Who's going to listen to me? Like, why should they care? which is kind of silly because people were already emailing me with questions from like the Netherlands and Florida, like the most random places. So
but
people
you still had trouble thinking of yourself as like qualified, which I think people can relate to. So I think that's a great thing to share.
For sure. Yeah. So I talked to Michelle McGlade, who is an acupuncturist business coach, and I think we were doing a podcast, and she was just like, tell me about what you have going on. And I told her how I felt it was really important to put this course together for our profession and how nervous I was. And she was pretty much like, give me a deadline and then tell people you're going to create it and then just do it, make it public. Yeah. So I took the plunge and I'm so glad I did, but it was a struggle. It took me like 6 months to be like, I'm really going to do it.
Yeah. Good for you. It's awesome. It's interesting. I'm glad I asked you that because I was always wondered and thought that maybe you always had the course in mind and created the blog to like list build, which everyone recommends that you do in advance of launching your course. And I was like, she is so smart for doing that.
I'm not that clever.
Yeah. Well,
I really did. Right. I really just loved talking about marketing, and I was like, I swear to God, I was telling my mom about something practice management one day, and she was like, maybe you should like write these things on the internet, like so you don't have to keep telling me about them. So that's where my like blog originally came from. It was more like an outlet for conversations that no one was really having online about acupuncture marketing. So it like kind of took on a life of its own. Yeah.
And I think an important, I created my course because I was teaching practice management. So I knew that they just didn't, I was doing the best I could with the 15 weeks I had, but I knew they needed so much more. The students knew they needed more and were requesting more semesters, and the school wouldn't give it to me. So I was like taking it into my own hands and doing it online. And, but I think an important thing that other acupuncturists might need to hear from us is, like, I think you and I maybe started when there wasn't, like, I feel like now, don't you think it's blown up and now there's like a ton of business and marketing resources for acupuncturists, which I think is awesome because there should be a lot of resources. And that people should have people to choose from. But I think that when acupuncturists are thinking about starting a course, they might think, oh, it's already been done before, or, oh, there's already a fertility program. But like you and I both have business and marketing courses, but like we have different approaches and different takes, and we're collaborating and working together. And it's like, I think the more the merrier, and people should just go ahead, have their own take and their own things to offer. And they shouldn't feel like it's been done before. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, because they're probably going to say it in a way that like isn't quite the same as someone else. And there's always, I mean, there's what, 7.5 billion people in the world, and I think like 6 billion of them have internet access. So like your tribe is definitely out there, and like there are certainly people who want to hear the way that you spin a story or teach a lesson more than they want to listen to someone else.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I got an email today from someone who was like, I created my perfect patient avatar and I wanted to share it with you. And like, I loved the example that you used from someone that you knew in your past. And I was like, oh, like, I'm so glad that you let me know that like this specific way that I'm teaching it resonated with you.
Yeah, totally. That feels so good. And that's such a good lesson for everybody. Yeah. Cool. So once you decided to create the course, what was your like first step? How did you go about creating it? Because I think that can be a hurdle for acupuncturists. They might be like, okay, I think I might want to create a course. Like, what do I do next? You know?
So first I decided that I wanted to do video and worksheets. I know some people whose courses are just podcasts. Some people's courses are just worksheets, or it's like text mostly. But I really knew that I wanted like, I wanted people to see my face, and I love creating worksheets. So I just assume everyone loves doing worksheets as adults, right? Like, and then I basically researched like the major course hosting platforms and decided to pick Thinkific. And I think you use Teachable, right?
Which was like also. I use
Oh
Thinkific.
yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure that I picked the one you use because I liked it.
Yeah, it's so easy, and I think
Yeah,
Teachable is similar. You just kind of have to pick one and go with it, right?
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So did you like what I did, which I think the way I did things, now I know better, and I don't think you need to do it the way people need to do it the way I did it. But what I did is I first started writing, and I just like wrote my ideas down to see, like, do I have lots to share? And like, does this idea have legs? And I just like wrote and wrote and wrote for like 6 months probably. And
Me
then you do, yeah. And then you're like, whoa, I have a lot to share apparently. And then I divided which of that content was going to be videos, was going to be PowerPoints, was going to be worksheets. And so that was my first step, was like just trying to articulate my ideas. But I wonder, I think a better way to do it would be to like create an outline first, you know, versus just like vomiting your ideas onto a page and then being like, how do I organize this? So I think people, don't you think, I mean, did you do anything like that structured?
I tried really hard to do just the outline, but I think I ended up doing a lot more of what you did, where I just got so carried away with like spitting out all this information in my head in like long form, because I love to write. But then when I was like, okay, yes, I have enough content, it felt kind of daunting to sit down and be like, well, now I have to translate this into video and worksheets. So I guess it kind of depends on like how a person likes to work. But yeah, I mean, if I created another course, I think I might try doing the outline and then just turning the video on and like seeing how it goes. And if it doesn't go well, then I'll go back to writing all the things.
I think that's a really good idea, because I think sometimes having written script can make you feel like I have to say it the perfect way I articulated it in writing, and then it can like stifle you when you're on camera. But like if you just sat down in front of your video and talked, you have a lot to share and good ideas, and I think it might flow easier. So yeah, I would encourage people to think about that. I also think that a great first step, and I wonder what you think about this, a great first step would be, before you even create any content, to start growing your list and feeling out whether people are interested in it. So maybe creating like an opt-in, you know, a lead magnet, like 1-page PDF, and putting it on your website and seeing if people opt in for it. And then you can see that there's demand for your idea before you even spend the like hours, days, weeks, months writing anything, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a really good idea. And I wish that I had sort of done that. I definitely did it kind of backwards, where I went and I put together this, you know, like really detailed, like long form course with all these videos and worksheets. And then I had like a soft launch, which is basically, I think I called it like a beta launch, where I asked 20 people to opt in for like half price. And then like the trade was, I would love for you to give me your feedback. Like, is this working? Do you like it? Are you learning things? And then I feel like I got lucky and the feedback was really good. So I didn't really change anything, but I put in, you know, like 3 months of work before asking people that question. And it's probably not the best way to go about it, because if they didn't like it, then I would be in a position to be like, I have to start over.
Yeah. I remember seeing you do that, the beta, and I thought that was super smart. And then you also probably got great testimonials that you could use, which is huge. And I'm really bad at doing that. I am too shy to ask my people for testimonials, but it's such an important thing.
It helps a lot.
Yeah. So that's a great idea.
I'm good at asking people for testimonials, but I'm bad at asking if I can also use their photo with their testimonial, because I think the testimonial is so much more powerful when you can see the person's little avatar and you're like, oh, that's like Chelsea from New York, you know, but I'm always like verklempt about asking for the photo.
We need to get over that. I know, but it's hard. But people are happy. When I do ask, people are happy to contribute and give back. For sure. Yeah. So what do you think were the like hardest parts of creating an online course? What were the biggest challenges or hurdles for you?
For me, it was definitely accepting like the fact that I must listen to my own voice and watch myself on screen in order to edit it, right? Because I would record something and be like, I never want to watch it. Like, I think a lot of people experience this where you're like, you can't stand watching yourself on video or like listening to yourself on a phone message. So, and I guess that feels really dumb, but it took me a long time to get over where I would procrastinate editing those videos. And finally I was like, it needs to get done. No one else is going to do it.
Yeah. Totally.
It's gotten much better. Like now it doesn't faze me at all. I'm like, I'm kind of ignoring myself. I'm not even paying attention when I'm editing.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. And my experience with like that being the hardest part also kind of leads into what I wanted to ask you next, which was the surprisingly like good parts, which is it was super hard for me to hear myself talk. I was like, I thought I sounded so much smarter than that. And I say all the time. And I also do this thing where after I say an idea, I go, and I make this weird like tongue noise. And I was like, I have no idea. I also realized I have like an
from my beta launch, someone was like, you kind of go, you know, like way too much. And then I couldn't think about anything else. And I had someone else take a look at the video and they were like, I don't think it's that serious. Like, don't go through all the video and edit out.
Oh God, no way. That would take so long.
It'll take you hours.
Yeah.
I'm so hung up on that stuff.
Yeah. And I realized I have like a funny eye twitch and like was like walking around asking my family members, like, have I always had an eye twitch? Is it something you knew about me and haven't told me? And like, but it was hard, but it ended up being like a surprising, like positive because I did get over it. And I think I actually learned to like not be so critical of myself and to remember that people aren't judging me for those things. And it's about the content and the quality. And it actually made me like accept and love myself a little bit more. Like, yeah, so I do that weird thing and I talk with my hands a lot and like, it's fine. And I feel like it's been healing for me actually.
Yeah.
So like, and I also was like incredibly shy. Like I was a late talker. My older brother like talked for me and I was like, I don't know, debilitatingly shy. And now, and like having to put yourself out there, don't you feel like just like you said earlier, like thinking of yourself as an expert, do I have the credibility? And then like putting your videos with your weird tics out there in the world, super hard, but also super healing. Cause you're like, wow, this is helping people. Wow. I like have something to offer. And it's like been healing for me in a strange way. Have you had any experience like that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was going to bring up that whole idea of initially I felt like, who am I to teach people anything about this? And then I think it's been 2 years. I actually can't remember when I initially launched it, if it was last year or the year before. Isn't that terrible? Like, I've been like tweaking it along the way, of course, but it's gotten so much easier for me to like just put myself out there in general, especially like on the internet, on like my personal Facebook page, just to realize that like I have something to say, it's okay to say it. And like people aren't nearly as hung up on me as I am. Like I'm so worried about what people are going to think. And like, they're not judging me that harshly. And like, it's just a passing thought for them. They're like, oh, that's interesting. And then it goes away. So yeah, I think that has been super healing and just, that willingness to be seen. I think sometimes I feel that more in my everyday life as well. I recently did just, what is today, Wednesday? On Monday, I redid all of my branding photos. Oh my God, it was so fun. The first time I did it, and I did use the same photographer both times, I was really anxious because it was like just me and her, and she would say things like, let's do personality shots. And I would be like,
what's my
afraid one of them? Like, I don't know what that means, right? And like, you think you're gonna go in and be like, Giselle, right? And then you're so awkward. You're like, what do I do with my arms? So this time when I went back, I just realized like halfway through, like I was so much more relaxed. Like I knew what kind of photos I wanted. I knew what I was doing. I mean, I'm still awkward, like, what do I do with my arms? But it felt like I was enjoying the process instead of being so hung up on like, people are watching me be awkward.
Totally. So
yeah, I feel super grateful for this online course for bringing that out for me personally. And then realizing that with people's feedback that what I'm teaching them hits home for them for whatever reason, has been huge in just allowing me to like use my voice a little bit more all around.
Absolutely.
So I think that's
And I think it is the best. I think this is applicable to all acupuncturists, even in marketing their practice, because I think I hear, and I can relate to that completely, that it can hold us back from, I mean, I remember just putting my website up, you know, years ago when I started my practice and feeling like someone going to not like it or like get mad at me. And who am I to put up a website? And every time I wrote a blog post would be like afraid of being criticized. And doing social media as an acupuncturist, I think that people can really relate to that fear of being seen or judged. And I think it's another reason I want to encourage people to do online courses is because it forces you to even more realize like how much you have to offer, your voice, your purpose, your passion. And it's fueled my practice a lot. Like doing my online fertility program I didn't do it to like market my practice because I had a wait list at the time. But it did feed my practice and it fed my confidence and my comfort with myself and my ability to articulate myself just by being forced to like put yourself out there more and try to articulate yourself. Yeah.
It's very empowering, I think, all around.
Yeah. And I almost, you know, I talk about this a little bit in my marketing course, but I almost think it's like sacred, like not just like not branding, but like figuring out your message and your voice and what you're about and how you help people. It almost feels sacred to be like really in line with that and like really true to who you are and to let it be out there in the world helping people. It feels almost sacred. And I feel that especially with my online courses too, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I really encourage acupuncturists to, explore this because don't you think acupuncturists have so much to offer via online courses? I think more than they realize, you know, like I think acupressure video courses are popular and our nutrition takes and lifestyle takes on specific
like facial massage and like gua sha and like at-home beauty routines and like nutrition. Oh my gosh,
the ideas are totally. So you recently changed from an evergreen model to like a launch model. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so previously I had my course set up so that people could opt in anytime, and I had like an email funnel going towards it, and I just felt like it wasn't like putting it out there enough. I just didn't have people who really like signed up for it unless there was like some kind of like big announcement or special event. And I just kind of felt like that was a shame because it was like I have this this big intense course and I have so much to share with people and like not enough people are like taking the plunge. So I decided to just do the limited enrollment twice a year. So a week in June and a week in November, so that it kind of forces people to decide like, are you in or are you out, right? Like, are you ready to learn this or not? And if you're not, that's fine. You can always jump in next time. But I found that was really helpful. And it also generated a lot more like social media buzz, which helped kind of push it and like spread it a little bit further. So it felt good that I was definitely reaching more people with my message.
Yeah.
So it's going well so far. I don't have regrets.
That's awesome. And I think that's a good lesson in court. Like one of the many things you have to learn when you start doing an online course is things like that evergreen versus launch and all the work that a launch takes, and that it can be frustrating when you have this amazing course that you know helps people and you want people to just like go and sign up for it. And then, but they don't unless you remind them and you're like, oh, I have to keep telling people about it. That's, I think, a huge reason, that the launch model works. My marketing course is still on evergreen. I know I should probably move to the launch model, but I have like too much on my plate right now to deal with that. But the Prospering is like, just by its nature, because it's like group coaching, does have limited enrollment, and I can see that it's really popular. And maybe I don't know if it's because of the coaching or because maybe it's the not evergreen model. I don't know. It's interesting. But
I just spoke to someone this morning, I think her name is Melanie, who was saying that she was in the Prosper ring with you and she loved it. Oh my gosh.
She's awesome. She's from Holland.
Yeah. Oh, so cool.
So cool. Yeah. Is she going to interview you for her Facebook group? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what she's doing.
Me too. She's great. So do you have any other advice or tips for any acupuncturists who are thinking about doing an online course?
I would say get an accountability buddy and then give them a timeline and tell them like in, this many weeks, I'm going to give you an outline, and this many weeks, I'm going to figure out the technology, and then this many weeks, I'm going to start recording. Obviously, I recommend that everybody, you should have an online course because the internet, it blows me away, the people you can reach and the opportunities that are out there. You might as well, right? You have nothing to lose. But definitely tell someone that you're going to do it, because like we said, I spun my wheels for probably 6 months just in fear. And then when I told someone that I respected very much, and I was a little bit afraid of her, that I was going to do it, then I was like, eek, it's time to do it. And I made it happen. But I wouldn't have. It might have taken me another 6 months or never if she hadn't do the thing.
Yeah,
so
that's so
that's
good.
my best advice, I think.
I think that's good advice. Yeah, I really think that's good advice. I guess I would say that set goals and deadlines. And also, I think that a common mistake people make when they create their first course is they make it so big and so overwhelming and so huge. Me too. And they want to put here's everything I know, and this will dramatically change someone's life, and this is everything they need. And you don't have to give people everything they need. That I've seen that with my fertility courses, I have the big Becoming Mama course. And then I have the detox that you can buy individually, or the 30-day meal plan. And just the quick little PDF hits are super popular. And it's quick, easy, tangible result that you can get people. But it's not the everything. So I think that also helps make it less overwhelming for you, for acupuncturists who are creating it, that they don't have to do this huge course. Yeah.
I think also that sometimes it actually prevents people from buying if they feel like your course is going to take too much of their time or effort. It's intimidating. I've had people tell me, when I log into the big course, there's somehow there's 60 modules, but there's not. I guess every worksheet and every little hey, here's an interesting article, you could check it off and be I'm done. And she's like, well, I did a dozen things, which I felt was great, but it still said 12 out of 60. And that felt bad to me. And I was like, oh God, you're so right. That doesn't feel good. That sounds too much. So it's how can I restructure it to help people realize you're making progress and it's not going to take you the rest of your life to finish. So I think, the kitchen sink approach kind of scares people at first. They're it'll never end.
God, it's overwhelming. Yeah. Totally. I think that's a really good thing to tell people as online course creators, that it's you have to also learn how to best transmit the information so people will absorb it. And I think that can be tricky for people. You and I both were taught a little bit before. And I think that made it easy for me to create the Acuprosper courses, is interacting with students and seeing what their questions are and how they like to learn. But it's tricky figuring out, with patients, we sit with patients in our office and see their questions and what they want to know and what they don't know. So I think we also still really have an advantage because we all work with people and relate to that. Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add, Michelle?
Not that I can think of. This has been really fun.
Yeah, it was great to connect with you. And we, I love what you're doing. I think it's awesome. It's fun to, just to connect and, I don't know, feel like we're in this together. And I want to just encourage other acupuncturists to go for it too. And if we can do it, you can do it. And so Okay, cool. Well, we hit 30 minutes, so that's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for sharing
Thank
about your
you.
experience. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Cool. And I can't wait to see your new branding photos. I think they're
Oh
gonna
my
look.
gosh, I'm so excited. They're a little bit outrageous, which I hope is okay.
I love that. It's such a fun, like upbeat energy, all of your branding. I love that.